Hello, my beautiful people. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is not done just yet, and I'm your host, Soul for You. Today's podcast episode is going to be about something that we've all dealt with, that we will deal with forever, and something that's very familiar to everyone, and it's healing. Um, Healing is something hard, something that we all go through, and it's okay. So I'm talking about the real healing, not that inspirational quote type of healing that everyone says, um, the motivational healing. You're strong, keep going. Although all of that is true, this is more of a raw healing, the healing that, you have your setbacks in where you start at ground zero and you pull yourself out of it, that kind of healing. And thank God, today I'm not going to have to discuss this on my own. I have someone here who has been through a lot and has been able to pull herself out of it time and time again. So I'm introducing you guys to my little sister, one of my little sisters, Ydania. And for those who don't know you, Ydania, can you go ahead and just give us an intro about yourself?
Yeah, so again, my name's Ydania. I'm 38 years old. I'm a mother of four, two adults and two kids. I'm married. I've been married for 17 years, and it's definitely been a journey.
Yeah. And you're married to your middle school sweetheart.
Yes.
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 So, which is awesome. Um, I can't relate, but I'm happy for her, of course. So those of you who don't know, Idania and myself, we're tight as heck. However you want to say it. This is my ride or die. Um, we've been through a lot together.
And we also, sorry to cut you off, we also had our own healing with each other.
Yes.
And many fights.
Arguments, yes. Not fights.
Yeah.
Arguments. you know, um, we've been through a lot. And we've been able to pull each other out of our messes that we put ourselves in, or, you know, we have that relationship where we are each other's friend. You know, because in real life or away from my sister, I don't have someone that I can call. I don't have my best friend. This is the person that I call when I'm angry, when I'm sad, when I'm going through something, whatever the emotion, anxiety, whatever it is. I always have someone that I could call, and that's my little sister, and vice versa. And that's one thing that I really, really look up and really enjoy in our relationship as sisters, because we don't have that relationship with everyone else. It's just always been me and her. We've also always connected because we were teen moms. We went through the struggle, and we're the ones that, they have all the kids, so, they can't come with us, or whatever the case may be. We don't get invited because of the kids, but we really don't care, because we have our own thing and we do our own thing. So healing is something that we both know and we're very familiar with and are still going through it. So we understand that healing is not linear. you know um, we think we're past something, and then here we go right back at it. So if you're someone that is thinking that, okay, I'm over this or I'm past it, and then you find yourself right back onto that pain,
Yeah.
this episode is gonna be for you. So keep listening. you know don't scroll, don't do any of that, just listen to us. It's gonna be raw, but we're gonna just try to be as open as possible,
Yeah.
so we can also continue on our healing journey.
Right.
Okay, so now that we got that out the way and the intro and all of that, let's get right to it. This is about healing. So um, I'll be asking you some questions, and then some will just go with it. Other ones, I'm gonna deep dive into them and see more,
Mm-hmm.
um, depending on the situation or whatever the discussion is.
Okay.
So, when did you start this healing journey? And why did you start it? What was it that started it for you?
Yeah. So, believe it or not, I I started my healing journey in my 30s. I'm 38 years old. I was 32, 33. Um, I lived in Vegas, right? And I was telling my husband we did really didn't have a lot of choices, but I told him I wanted to move back to California to be closer to my family. Um, and that was going to help me in my healing, because I was already in therapy, and knowing that I needed to be close to my family to be able to have those real conversations with them. Um, so yeah, it started in my early 30s, mid 30s.
Yeah. So what started it all was that you thought you needed to be closer to your family to heal.
Yeah,
So you wanted to come back and ask those questions, or
yeah.
you know. So what happened when you got here?
At first, I was so excited. I'm gonna be closer to my family. I'm gonna bridge those relationships. I was for it. I was ready. But when I got here, it just made me realize that, and no shade to anyone, but it was the same thing. It was the same thing that I left, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have to do some work on myself, because every time that I went around my family, the anxiety kicked in,
Yeah.
and I'm feeling like, and it this could I mean it could not be true, but I feel like everyone's talking about me. Everyone always has something to say about me or my lifestyle, and it's not like my lifestyle was crazy. And
Yeah.
I was working. I was a mom.
You weren't out there in the streets.
Yeah, it was a regular family life,
Yeah.
but I just felt that way.
Yeah, and I can relate for sure. But sometimes when we're going through the healing, we realize that we're seeking to heal, and we're going back to those who caused us to be in this
Right.
journey. And
Right.
it takes for us to go back, just like it took for you to come back from Vegas because you missed us. I want to be closer to my sisters. I want to be closer to my mom, my dad. And then you get here, and then you're so close, yet so far. And
Yes.
you realize that just because you're here in your healing journey doesn't mean that everyone else is here.
Right.
They're not ready to open up.
Mm-hmm.
You know, how long have you been back already?
Um, since 2019.
So it's been some years.
Yeah,
Do you think they're ready?
I don't think so.
So it's like, do you feel like you in your healing journey, when you go and ask for a conversation, not even an apology,
Mm-hmm.
but just a conversation with someone, whoever it might be, and they don't give you what you want, what you've expected.
Mm-hmm.
They a little loop de loo on you. You're like, whoa, I didn't expect for them not to take this. I thought I'm being open and I'm being honest.
Yeah.
And you feel like you're back at ground zero. How do you bring yourself out of it?
Now,
Yeah.
um, I don't even. Now I don't even bother. I don't. I gotta accept. I gotta accept where that person is. I have to accept that I'm not gonna get what I need from them.
Yeah.
So I don't expect anything.
So, what advice can you give someone that is not there yet? They're just seeking that apology, that conversation, whatever it is, that acknowledgement. Because at the end of the day, it's like an acknowledgement.
Yeah.
Because if someone doesn't acknowledge you, you feel like do they even care? Like, what's going on here?
Yeah.
You know, I'm being open. So what advice would you give someone that's there now, waiting for the apology? You know, I can say I'm there, and I've been there for going on now 6 years. You know, what would you say to that person going through something like that where they're not getting the apology? How do they move past that?
You you would have to. I would say trust yourself, um, and be honest with yourself. You got to be open with yourself, and tell yourself, either you accept what they're giving you, or you continue to fight it. It's just that's what it is.
Make a choice.
Yeah, either
Yeah.
you deal with it and take what they can give you, because that's all they can give you right now. They don't have nothing else to give you. Even though you want to just grab them and be like, "Hello, do you hear me?"
Right.
They're not gonna hear you. They're not. So you gotta make that decision.
So when it comes to family,
Mm-hmm.
this is a very sensitive topic for both of us.
Yeah.
What do we do? We can't just forget about them. We're gonna see them eventually. There's gonna be family gatherings. How have you been able? Because I know for myself,
Yeah.
I go around and my anxiety stays with me. I cry when I get home. I think about every little detail that happened that day. Why did this person not talk to me, or are they looking at me that way? I've never even said anything to you, and now you're like ignoring me.
Yeah.
And then I go home, and it literally used to stay with me
Yeah.
for a while, where I went through my moment of crying for 2 weeks, just crying and thinking about it. So how can you move forward, or how have you been able to do it just to not let it affect you?
You know, I can say I'm halfway. Um, cause for me it's and for them is out of sight, out of mind. So I stay away on purpose.
Yeah.
Cause I'm not done healing.
Yeah.
I stay away on purpose so I don't feel that. And just like you, I love my family. I get around them, and sometimes, and I don't mean to hurt anyone's feelings and no shade, but sometimes I feel like I can't relate, or they can't relate to me, or it feels like they don't want to relate to me. They don't want to know me, not as a sister, not as a daughter, as a person.
Yeah.
They don't want to know me, and because I moved out when I was 15, my mother-in-law basically raised me from when I was 15 till she passed away, rest in peace. But and obviously she raised me how she knew how to be a mother, and I feel like they don't like that somehow. It's how I feel.
So who's they?
My family.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my family. And I just feel like they don't really care. To care is how I feel. They don't really care.
Yeah, because I mean, you were moved out
Yeah.
when you were 15. When I go back and I think about all of that, I think like all my sisters. And I think about me now as a mother. And I think I would not have my 15-year-old daughter move out.
Yeah.
You were a kid, you know, um, getting ready to be a mom, you know, um, because we were both teen moms.
And the one thing that still kills me now is, just like you just said, I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I shouldn't have been doing all that stuff that I was doing. I was seeking validation.
Yeah.
Um, I was seeking that attention from my mother, and at that point, I needed her
Yeah.
more than I had ever needed her, and she left me.
I remember
She
that
wasn't there.
she wasn't. Um, and I remember we both found out we were pregnant around the same time. You know, I actually went with you to get your pregnancy test,
Yeah.
and I just
Took
jo-
it.
jokingly, jokingly, knowing inside that there might have been a possibility, but I was just like, no. We took a pregnancy test together at the, was it Del Taco?
No, it was Walmart.
Yeah, but we bought it at Walmart and we went to the Del Taco.
Oh, I thought we took it at the bathroom at Walmart.
No, it was like at the Del Taco, and I got my result first, and I was freaking like, what the hell, you know? So we both found out we were pregnant. We went there to find out about you because you were honest.
Yeah.
You were like, I might be pregnant, and I knew that there might be a chance, but at the same time, I wasn't like, I don't think I'm pregnant, but I just wanted to be there for you.
Yeah.
So I wasn't honest in what I was thinking, but I deep down inside, I was like, dang, I might be pregnant too. Let me just use this time to also, but I also said, we'll take it together,
Yeah.
so you wouldn't feel alone. And yeah, we both found out we were pregnant at the same time. You were 15 or 14, gonna be 15?
No, I was 15, gonna be 16.
Yeah. And I was 17, going to be 18, or 18, I don't know what.
You were 17.
17, gonna be 18. And so we go home, and yeah, we're both pregnant, Mom. And I don't know if you want to talk about that or not.
Okay.
And we're gonna discuss a topic that is a really touchy topic that I will discuss on my journey later, but something that my sister almost had to go through as well. You know, because in the Mexican culture, the Latino culture, um, there's a lot of racism that doesn't get discussed. It's not only the white people who are racist, you know. Latinos, and I'm not saying everyone because not everyone is the same, but in the culture that old school Latinos come from, they're very racist, you know. So a little bit of background: we both were dating black guys, you know, very different from each other. Jason has always been, like, in my eyes, because I didn't know him before, when he was a little crazy kid, you know. We went to school together, you know, and he was always a good kid, you know, never out there doing drugs, doing crazy stuff, selling drugs, being a thug or anything. But my kid's dad was the opposite. Total thug, you know, out there doing everything that a thug does. Going out, coming in, you know, 3 o'clock in the morning, whatever. Way older than me, you know. And I was 17. My
Rest
sister,
in peace.
rest in peace, yes. I was 17. My sister was 15. We're both pregnant. You know, they knew me, and I'm not gonna allow for anyone, you know, again, to dictate what I'm gonna do with my body.
Yeah.
You know. And the options was either one of you leaves, both of you leaves, one of you gets an abortion, or one of you stays, whatever the case was. But I know that my sister was almost forced for an abortion, you know. And I remember saying, like, no, I'm not gonna allow her to go through that. So I decided I'll leave. You know, I moved out, and I moved out of my house at 17, and then my sister decided to stay for a while because she ended up leaving too, you know. And tell us how you, like, what did you feel? What was your side of the story? Because I'm just saying my side.
Well, just everything that you said, the pregnancy test, all that did happen, was not funny, but I literally, not even a few days ago, I remembered because um, my family, my sister, and then my other sisters get mad at me because, or get a little annoyed with me because they say stories and I'm like, I don't remember that. I don't know. So for me to remember this, I was in the car and I literally remember my stepdad telling me like, you're gonna get rid of that MF, like you're gonna get rid of that. And I was like, no, I'm keeping my baby. Not knowing what that, not knowing what that meant. I was
Yeah.
15, not knowing what it meant, but I knew that I was gonna love this baby, and I was gonna do anything to make sure that she didn't go through what I went through.
Yeah.
And but like Sophia said, one of us had to leave, one of us had to get an abortion, and I didn't know how to speak up for myself. I I was just gonna do what my mom said because that was my mom. But I went to the doctor, um, and first of all, that doctor, he's horrible. Um,
Who was it? Kumar?
yeah, Dr. Kumar. I had my first pap smear, and I didn't even know what it was.
Yeah.
They didn't explain anything, and my mom didn't know a lot of English, so she couldn't explain anything. So
But she could have told you from her experience.
yeah, I didn't even know what that was. Even though I was out there doing, a, I mean, now I know a 15-year-old shouldn't even be out there doing half the stuff I was doing, but I did it.
Yeah.
Because again, I was seeking validation. I needed some love from anywhere. I was
Yeah.
willing to receive it from anywhere. And so at the doctor's office, that was the only doctor out here at that time. Um, they gave me a bag. I remember the white bag with the pills, and they said, I can't even remember. And that's what I was telling my daughter. I can't remember if I took the first pill at the doctor's office, or did they give you the pills for you to take home and take them at home? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Um, but I remember I was sitting there and I was sitting in the bathroom, and my sister was talking to me, telling me, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Like, I mean, she'll share her story, but I felt like I didn't have a choice, but I knew that I wanted this baby. I knew I wanted her. And I was going to do anything to have her. So I said, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not going to do it. I didn't take the pills. And my mom accepted it. I don't know if it was because Sophia moved out,
Mm-hmm.
or she's seen that, okay, she can't control me now. I don't know what it was, but she accepted it.
Yeah. I think a lot of it was my mom saying, I'm not gonna take care of you guys as kids. You guys got yourself into this. You take care of it." And then I saw that you didn't want to do this, and I didn't want you to do it.
Yeah.
You know, from experience, I didn't want you to feel what I felt, and you were going through the same thing that I went through years before, where you're forced to do something without even knowing what it is. You're just going along to please your parents, you know, um, because there was no communication as to why did you do this, what happened, what did I do as a parent, what am I doing wrong? Let's help you through it. It's okay. It's a mistake, you know, that you made. Not that the baby is a mistake,
Yeah.
but the situation, you know. Um, there was none of that, you know, ever, you know. So needless to say, I was so happy that my sister decided to keep the baby. And you know, she's wonderful, and she's what, 22 now, 21, you know. Yeah, we both have the same kids at the same age, so you know, I'm so happy that she decided to keep the baby and do this for herself,
Yeah.
you know. And I think that was like, although in that moment you didn't feel that you were strong, that was one of your strongest moments in your life when you look at it, in my eyes, because you weren't doing this just for yourself. That was your first moment as a mother, you know, and how much we want to protect our kids. You know, you knew that you were all the baby had, you know, and you were able to protect her and save her, you know, and guide, you know, now, you know, you look back and you're like, dang, thank God, you know, that I made the right choice.
Yeah.
Not that it's the wrong choice or the right choice for
For
everyone.
me.
It was the right choice for you. Not saying that if you do choose to have an abortion, it's the wrong choice. You know, everyone has their journey and everyone has their own, you know, conscience and their own right and wrong. So,
Yeah.
not trying to, you know, bash anyone who's had an abortion willingly, you know, and all of that. So, for someone who is going through something familiar, doesn't have to be, you know, being pregnant at a young age. Um, what can you tell that someone? What positive affirmation or positive can you tell that someone going through that right now? One of their moments where they're feeling closed in, they don't have a choice, they can't make the choice for themselves. Someone else is speaking for them, you know, not in a positive way. Someone's telling them you have to do this. What kind of advice would you give that someone?
Um, I would say don't be afraid um, of what's next.
Yeah,
Speak up because, like, that's when you empower yourself. Um, you have to speak for yourself. And I know it's easier said than done, but sometimes we just have to get out and do it.
yeah, that's way easier said than done.
Yeah.
You know, from everything that we've been going through. You know, would you say that that's when your journey started of, you know, realizing, or was there something else before that made you realize like family is not what everybody makes it out to be?
No, I already knew that before I got pregnant. Um, yeah, I already knew that, and it's sad. It's sad to say because I love my family. I love and by family I mean my mom, my stepdad, and my siblings. Because not saying that I don't love everybody else, but family is that's what I think.
Yeah,
And
all your immediate family.
yes, immediate family. And I seen the way that my mom acted towards my little brother and my little sister, who is um, kids to my stepdad.
Yeah,
Um, and I always said, whenever I have kids, or I never want to share, I never want my kids to share a dad with another family, another woman, or whatever, other kids, because I don't want my kids to go through that. From what we seen when we were younger,
yeah,
even though it was in your face, and even though it was tried to like be played off, or I don't know what I'm trying to say. Like, it was always in our faces,
that
but
we were.
we were always second
Yeah,
to them, and nothing that they did.
it's not their
We
fault.
were all kids. I
Yeah,
love my siblings, um, but I just knew that that's not something that I wanted my kids to go through. Yeah,
and it's crazy because that part never affected me.
yeah,
Being second to them never. But what did affect me was being second to a man. You know, not that my I call him my dad. He came in our lives when I was 5. So you were what?
Two.
2. My little brother was 1, a 1-year old. My mom had 6 kids when she met my stepdad. And not saying that he was a bad guy or he mistreated us or he hit us or starved us, any of that. He was always very quiet, very reserved, just whatever my mom said went. I think he was terrified of her. And I think, just like us, I think he still is terrified of her. They've been together for 38, 39 years, and he's terrified of her, something that has never changed, you know. But I didn't even realize that my brother and my sister were considered half siblings until I was an adult, because in our house, everybody was my little brother, my little sister, my big brother, my big sister, however it is. Um, but what I did realize was that we were second, in my eyes, to our stepdad. He was always first for my mom.
Yeah.
You know, um, everything everything was him first. And we were just like a burden or something. Not. This is how I looked at it as a kid. Um, and because of that, I always gravitated towards my mom and wanting to do everything for her, please her, make her happy, because she was always angry. Yeah. And as a child, I didn't understand why. I was always angry as well. We were going through it. All of us were angry. We just want someone to hug us and tell us, we love you. I love you. You're my daughter. I love you. You're doing great in school. Good job on that A, or really anything. We didn't get that because my mom was so busy working, coming home, making food. Now as an adult, I see it, all of that.
Yeah.
Not that they're excuses, but you kind of relate now when you come home, you cook, you clean up, the everyday struggle of life.
Yeah.
And although it was like something that was, I see it now, how much it affected me now. I could never see myself doing that to my kids intentionally, So, what would you say to yourself now as an adult? What would you say to your young self? Now that you understand more about healing, and now that you see yourself as a mother, what would you say to your younger self?
Yeah. I would say a lot. But just to name one thing, I would say you matter.
Yeah.
You matter. And people are going to love you in the future. Like, when you're an adult, you're going to have good kids, beautiful kids, and they're not going to give you no shit. They're not going to, you're going to raise them right.
Yeah.
And so keep going. You're strong. Stronger than you think, really.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. Like,
Yeah.
you're stronger than you think. One thing that I always go back to when I'm feeling down or I'm feeling sad, I always think about my grandma.
Oh.
And my grandma passed away a couple of years ago now. I think we're going on 3 years now. And it really feels like just yesterday. Some days it feels good. It feels like, okay, my grandma was a great person, But I always think of how much she had our back, because for some reason, we were the mocosos of that. Everybody was like, ugh, because we were all outspoken, we were all like, I'm gonna do what I want, we were just some little bad kids, and not in a bad way that we were out there selling drugs, robbing places, just like attention seeking in a bad way. And my grandma, every time that I'm going through something, I always remember my grandma telling us this. And this is something that I tell my son now all the time when I'm feeling scared. When I felt scared before, when I felt sad or anything, my grandma would always tell me this: don't be scared. You can't be scared, because guess who's always with you? And I would say, what? And she would always say, Dios, God. He's always with you. So this is something that I always tell my son now. I always say that. I don't know why, I didn't say it so much to my daughters, but for my son, I always share it with him when he's feeling afraid or anything. I always say, Papas, don't be scared. Remember what I said. Who's always with you? And he always says, God. And then my grandma used to say, and if he's with you, nothing can happen to you. Nothing bad can happen to you. And my grandma has always, and it still continues on to teach me, you know, and let me know that everything's gonna be okay. You know, just recently, I've been going through a lot of stress, and I randomly get woken up in the middle of the night, and I don't know why, and it's because I feel it's my grandma. She comes and she tells me it's gonna be okay. The last time she sang one of the coritos that we sang at church, which is Joshua 1:9. For I have not commanded you to be strong and courageous, but she she sang that around my room. I can hear her. Mira que te mando que te esfuerces, que seas valiente, no temas ni desmayes. Because God is gonna be with you forever. He's with you always. So that's one person that has helped me and continues to help me to move forward and push and be strong. What's something that has helped you to move forward? Whether it's God, religion, someone, music. What has it been?
Um, it's definitely music. Well, one of the things, but for me, it's my kids. Um, just to see them doing good, it brings me happiness.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I can relate to that too. The kids. I thought you were gonna say me. No, but So getting back to healing and understanding that it's not linear, and understanding that it's okay. It's okay to be down here today, pray about it, and all of that. And then the next day, you wake up and you're up here.
Yeah.
You feel great. How have you been able, or how do you bring yourself up here when the night before you were up here? And then the day after, when you wake up, you just wake up down here.
Yeah.
Have you had that, and how do you bring yourself out of it?
You know, I've been having a really stressful week too at work. Um, and I've been so exhausted every day. Like my mind is just overworked. Um, I can't say that everything that I do is healthy. You know, I do use those coping skills to bring myself up, but a lot of the times is we don't have a choice but to keep on going.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, staying busy
Yeah.
is what helps me keep going. Not that I don't deal with my own stuff, I do, but sometimes you don't have time. You just keep going, keep going. So once when I get home, I put my daughter's AirPods in, and once everyone's going to sleep, I sit there and I either listen to music. I just got me a crossword puzzle yesterday because I had to keep my brain going, and then pillow talk to my husband about my day.
Yeah.
That's what helps me.
Has that always been easy to talk to your husband?
Um, um,
Sorry, Jason.
no, no, because he was brought up to Boys don't cry. Boys basically don't show your emotions.
And he's the only boy.
Yeah, he's the only boy. And I've had to, because we're healing together, I had to teach him, like, it's okay. You know, because I would get, oh my goodness, I would get so much shit because I would baby my son. And
Yeah.
I would let him do stuff, and people would say, oh, that's for girls. Even he would say that. I'm like, no, it's not. It's okay.
It's gonna turn him gay.
Yeah, like, it's okay.
Yeah.
And
because we have proof that, sorry to cut you off, but we have proof that dressing boys in skirts and putting makeup on them does not turn them gay.
Yeah.
Because we did that to our brothers. So it doesn't turn them gay.
They were bullied.
They were bullied into putting makeup on in dresses.
Yeah. So it wasn't easy, but I think and it wasn't soon either. It just happened. His mom passed away. My mother-in-law, rest in peace, and he wouldn't allow himself to feel it.
Yeah.
He wouldn't cry. He didn't cry. He didn't. And it's not that it's because he didn't love his mom. It's because he felt he didn't want to be vulnerable. That's weak.
And he's always been like that.
Yeah, for some men, and they were brought up that way.
Yeah.
The machista style. You don't cry. You don't show emotion. You're a man.
Yeah.
You gotta take it in the chin. Like, that's not true. And that's why we have so many grown men who haven't even started their healing.
Yeah.
And don't even know how to start because they were brought up that way.
Yeah. And one good thing about this new generation and all of that is that it's okay to be a man in touch with your feminine side. It's okay. It's okay to cry. It's okay to have feel hurt about a comment. It's okay, and that's one thing that we both only have one son.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to teach my son that being expressive, communicative, and in touch with your true feelings and your true self, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because if you want to play with a teddy bear, it's okay. It's not gonna turn you gay. I bought my son a pony. He was all into ponies. The nays, he called it. And I got him one of those what are they? The big dolls, the tall dolls. They came with the little horse, a little big horse, and I got it for him. So when I first got it, his dad was like, that's for girls. Because that's the way he was brought up as well. That's for girls. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's a toy. It's a horse. Like, it's not. It's just a horse. He likes horses. I think, like, kids learn what you teach them.
Yeah.
If you teach them that this is just a horse, you're just gonna play with it. But if you're constantly saying, like, girls play with horses, and if you're gonna play with that horse, you're gonna be gay, or if you're gonna do this, you're gonna be gay, or why are you playing with that if it's only for girls? Or even vice versa, a girl, oh, you're doing this, you're gonna be gay. You can't wear baggy pants and you're gonna be gay. And I don't know, reality check, all girls right now are wearing baggy clothes.
Yeah.
It's like they're going back to back then, where, I know when I was in my little chola days, I was wearing my Ben Davis super big and my t-shirts and all of that. And it's different, it's all coming back. You know what I'm saying? So, going back, and I'm going to keep saying this because we'll get distracted. We just start talking about other stuff. But going back to healing, and how do you think that being able to communicate with your husband, being able to communicate with him now has helped you grow as a couple in your marriage?
Oh, man. Remember I said I didn't know how to speak up for myself. I didn't know what real love was. I didn't know what a healthy relationship was.
Yeah.
So not whatever relationship, because it was with him, but the relationship that I was in, I took everything because I didn't know. Okay, I mean, because, I mean, you're human, like, okay, this don't feel right. but I'm like, what am I gonna say about it? I didn't know how to
Yeah.
speak up for myself, and I felt scared half the time. Um, and over the years, like, yeah, we've been together for 22 years, but the best years just came.
Yeah.
And not saying that the years back then were horrible, and it's just like we're both grown, we're both going through our healing, we know what we want. Our kids are growing, and not, I want to say, 5 years.
Yeah.
So moving to Lancaster um, really helped us grow closer together.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot the question.
How has healing helped you get your
Oh,
marriage?
yeah. So healing. Well, it's just the same, like I was saying with my mom. Oh wait, that was in the other episode. It's like just meeting people where they're at and not expecting so much from them, because
Yeah.
they probably they
Are not
can't
there
give you
yet.
what you want, what you desperately want. They're not there yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you say you took everything, you mean like you didn't speak up for yourself. You just
Yeah.
whatever he said, you just went with it because you didn't know any better, or you thought this is the way a relationship is supposed to be because nobody ever taught us different.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
all we know from a relationship is arguing and crazy stuff. You know, that was our brought up. You know.
Well, you know what? I'm not. That's not all I seen, because I moved.
You moved up
They
pretty
moved
young.
me
Yeah.
when I was 11, and that's really where my trauma was. Is I live with my grandparents, and
To this day, we don't know why.
yeah, but I live with my grandma and my grandpa, and oh my goodness, they love me, and I've never seen them argue. I've never, but for some reason that was already in my head. Like, if this is what the relationship is, then that's what it is.
Yeah.
Until I got older and realized, like, wait, I don't like that.
Yeah.
I like this.
Yeah.
And you know how they say you have to train a man, like, we have to learn each other as adults and not as children, because
We were.
we're kids.
Yeah.
So we have to learn each other and be honest with each other and let each other know what we like and what we don't like. And it might seem kind of corny for people,
Yeah.
but I mean, if this is your lifelong partner,
Why not?
you want to be happy
Yeah.
and you want to be comfortable and vulnerable.
So, I just want to say one thing, and I know that we're both afraid to be wide open and raw because although we've been through a lot and family has been a big part of that trauma and our healing journey,
Yeah.
you know, I want us to be able to open up and not be afraid,
Yeah.
you know, to speak our truth, you know, because I know in our journey, that's a big part of it. We've been afraid. We've been afraid to be able to speak up because we're the odd ones that decided to speak up and decided to break the chain, decided to say, that ends now. I'm not going to allow you to do this. And for me, the big part was when my kids started receiving that kind of toxic love,
Yeah.
where I said, I don't care what you did to me. I don't care how you made me feel. I don't care about any of that, although it does matter.
Yeah.
My kids, what I'm not gonna allow is for my kids to feel that as well. You know, and I think for me, that was when my kids started asking me, you know, why doesn't my grandma call? You know, Why doesn't my aunt check on me? You know, any of that. I realized that just because they're family doesn't mean that I have to allow them to be part of my life and my kids' life.
Yeah.
You know, because sometimes, and unfortunately, you realize that all family is not good family. It's not good for you mentally. Not saying like bad family as a bad person.
Yeah.
Just regardless if it's family, if it's your mother, if it's your dad, if it's your sisters, you know, your nieces, your nephews, all of that. Just because they are your blood family doesn't mean that you have to allow the hurt, or you don't have to continue to brush it under the rug, you know, like we've been trained in our heads to do since we were little.
Yeah.
You know, um, what was your breaking point or your point of no return to where you said, I'm going to also break this chain, this cycle?
Um, for me, that started that started in, man, shit. Um, I want to say 2008. If we want to get technical, 2008. Before that, I was me and my husband. At the time, we weren't married, but um, we how do I put it? Well, me and my sister, we thought we still wanted to be girls. We still wanted to be. We're just girls. We wanted to be teenagers.
Yeah.
And we still wanted to go out and do what everybody. Because I'm not gonna say friends. Because me and her, we've never really had friends.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if that was because, for me, I'm speak for myself. I don't know if that was because I didn't want to allow anyone to see my ugly. Um, and I always have that wall up,
Yeah.
or I just knew like, "Hey, you're fake. You guys are fake. Like nothing is genuine.
Yeah.
No one is genuine. No one actually cares. I
Yeah.
don't know. I'm stuck in between those two. But anyway, we were trying to be girls still, trying to hang out, and we would make our little sister watch the kids, and to hear my mom tell her like, I don't ever want to see you watching them kids. Tell them no. They wanted to have kids, then they need to take care of them. Um, so for me, it happened a long time ago, but I didn't want to face it, if
Yeah.
you could say. But once we moved to Vegas, and my mom only visited me 2 times out of the 10 years that I was out there, 2 times.
Yeah.
I realized that, and it hurts to say this, and I don't want my family to feel some type of way, and I think that that's why I'm so closed off, is that I'm always thinking about everybody else's feelings.
Yeah.
How are they going to feel if I say this?
How do I look?
Yeah. So, um, for me and my kids to be out of sight, out of mind with them, I realized like, even though that's where I came from,
Yeah.
that's not that's not that's not what I feel should be family.
Yeah.
I could never call anyone, except for you, obviously. I could never call anyone if I was feeling down, if I was feeling happy, my good moments. I could never call
Yeah.
nobody. But you know who was there? And even though sometimes they get on my nerves,
Yeah.
it was my sister-in-laws, and my mother-in-law and their family. That was my family. They are my family.
Yeah.
And I realized, and this went up and down. It's not that it was always like this, but I felt like, you know what? Fuck it. They don't
Yeah.
want to know me. they don't want to know my kids, I'm not going to reach out.
Yeah.
I'm not. And I still don't call my mom. It's awkward to
Yeah.
have a conversation with her on the phone, or even when I'm in front of her. I
Yeah.
love her. I love her. I would love to have
Mother and daughter.
the type of relationship that some of my other sisters have with her, but I don't know where they are at in their healing, but either they put up a front
Mhm.
or they're way further from where I'm
Yeah.
at. And a lot of the stuff I can't let go because I won't accept it because I can't believe it.
Yeah.
I would never, I would never put my kids through this,
Yeah.
or any other kid, really.
Yeah.
And and you know, even though this job that I'm in, it fell out of the sky. I think it was my mother-in-law, but I think that's why I love it so much because I get to deal, not deal, but
Help.
I get to help with kids who a lot of the times have been through so much more than I've been through.
Mhm.
But to the one kid, the one daughter who has a hard relationship with their mom, I'm able to help, even though if it's not directly, it's indirectly through whoever's working with that kid.
Yeah.
And I think that's why I enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, what hit me right now when you said about, Jason's mom and, his sisters and just really his family, um, there were, although, every family has their moments and has their crazy times and everything, but they were really the opposite of what we had at home.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they always have stuck up for each other that I know, um, and that's not something that we had at home. So I think that's why you were able to kind of like cope with it at that moment, and having a mother-in-law, because Sandra was awesome, you know, having a mother-in-law that was open and was raw, you know, because she knew she wasn't perfect,
Mm-hmm.
you know, she knew that she wasn't the best, whether it was the best parent, the best person, however. But one thing that she was always was just real,
Mm-hmm.
you know. However it came out, she didn't give a damn. She was gonna say it, and it was gonna be raw, and
Mm-hmm.
you were gonna appreciate it. And I think like watching you, um, it was like you molded into that because even with the kids and everything, they're able to just share everything, be okay with every kind of situation. They just kind of move with it and go with it.
Mm-hmm.
Not something that we were taught at home. At home we were taught to be quiet. You do what your parents tell you to do. Um, you eat when we tell you to do. You come in the house when we tell you to do. Everything is when we tell you to do because we're your parents.
Yeah.
And that I think that's looking at it from an outside perspective.
Yeah.
I feel like that kind of helped you cope better because you were missing that love, you were missing that affection, and you had it, and it helped you. And I think when Sandra passed away, you know, it kind of took, that was your mother, you know, and that was a big chunk. And it's not just that it was just her. It was how everything, it was so many family members at once, after losing someone, already months before, and I think that that kind of brought you back
Mm.
into depression, because I could see you were doing great on the outside and look, okay, you're dealing with it, you're being doing that, but how have you been able to pull yourself out of that depression after losing someone that was so strong, a pillar for you, How have you been able to pull yourself out?
Man. Um, I don't think I had a choice. I had to. Um, because my kids were broken. My sister-in-laws were broken.
Yeah.
My husband was shattered, broken. And I was broken.
Yeah.
She was my mom, and I I seen how my kids were after everything happened. Um, everybody was there when it happened, but everybody disappeared after, and no fault to them. Maybe they were um, guarding themselves because they had to be healthy for themselves. I don't fault them. They couldn't handle it. It's okay. But I needed people there because I just couldn't do it by myself.
Yeah.
And I don't really have an answer for that. I had to. Um, Actually, I don't know. That's a big question, man.
Yeah.
I think that after the first 6 months after it happened, and my kids were going through, obviously, they're all going to be depressed.
Because at this point, this was their present grandma.
Yeah. Oh, their grandma's, she's everything to them.
This was the only grandma they knew
Yeah.
because unfortunately, she's the one that showed up, always.
Yeah.
And fortunately,
Yeah.
you know.
She, and I love her, like, to this day, I just think about, like, how proud she would be of them because even with Yaya and Kelani, it was Kelani at first. Kelani wanted to do nails. And we were talking about it, and my mother-in-law came home with, even though she bought it at the dollar store or
Yeah.
Five Below, whatever, a whole little stack of like nail polish and just like little things like,
Yeah.
here, this can help you. And
Mhm.
she listened and she was there for them. And that's what I miss
Yeah.
because they don't have anyone like that now. Um, they don't. But I felt like what helped me snap out of it was when my other daughter was having um, she was really, really, really dark in depression, and some self harm came into play. Obviously, I did what I was supposed to do, take her to the hospital.
Yeah.
She got admitted. I almost fought myself because I didn't want her to go because I've never been away from my kids
Yeah.
for that long ever, and I wanted to be there with her, but I couldn't because I know that this was something that
She had to go through.
she needed to go through, and she needed the help. And even though I desperately needed the help too, and my family, I just had to let it happen. So at that point, that's what woke me up.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, what am I gonna do? I need to get my family back to where we were, and that's what started it again. Cause there's
Moments.
moments. That's what started it again.
Yeah. This
Is that point?
this healing journey.
Yes, that
Mhm.
one. Yeah.
You know, it sucks that we have to go through the down moments to really appreciate the high ones.
Yeah.
Although there is no high moment in losing someone.
Yeah.
And really with us, we never really lost anyone.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we never had anyone in our family
So close.
that passed away that we were close to. For you, the first person, I don't think the first person that was close to you to pass away was Sandra.
Dorothy.
You know, it was Dorothy who's Sandra's mother. So basically, you know, Jason's grandmother. You know, and you're not even done healing from that, and then Sandra passes away. You know, um, for me, it wasn't until my grandma passed away. That was really the only person that has passed away that I was super close to. You know, not that Sandra wasn't like a sad moment for me.
Yeah.
You know, because you know she was also very good to me. You know, um, it was funny. She would just tell everybody that her daughter worked here and her daughter worked there, and I would be like, "Hey, I'm not your daughter. You know, my sister is your daughter-in-law."
My
But
daughter can hook you up with
yeah,
a job.
it was always something like that. But she was good, and I always one thing about Jason's family is that they accepted you.
Yeah.
They accepted me. You know, they understood who we were, and you know all of that. You know, they weren't. Although they had some moments that they went through in their life where you know Mexicans weren't good to them. You know, they didn't take it out on us.
Mm-mm.
You know, and I really always think about that. Like you know, they treated you good, and when I came around, it was always you know we were always good.
Yeah.
You know, and you know I always now that we're because grieving is not just you get over it
Yeah.
and that's it. You know, there's those moments where, you know, you're doing great and everything's great and you go to work, your regular day, you're having a great day, and then boom, a song comes out. Or a scent. Like sometimes randomly I smell my grandma and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, it smells like my grandma. And then I start thinking about her, you know, or I sing a worship song where she would, back in the day, I would be so upset, you know, because I would be singing and she didn't need a microphone, you know, she would be screaming in the background and I'm like, hey, who's leading worship here? Am I or you? You know, because you're down there and I'm up here and you're over singing me, you know, and now I'm like, oh, I wish I could hear my grandma's Alleluia,
Yeah.
you know, and it takes you back and you're grieving again. And, you know, you go through those moments. And if anyone's listening right now and you're going through a moment and you don't understand why, you know, you're grieving and you're happy, then you're sad, and there's nothing wrong with you.
Yeah.
Nothing. You know, it's okay. It's okay. You don't have to be okay all the time. That's okay. You know, understand that you will get through it. You know, you will have those moments of going up and down, side to side, and somebody's pulling you one way, the next person's pulling you this way. It's just, it's life.
Yeah.
You know, coming from two people that have been through a lot in life, we can both say that you will get over it. You know,
Yeah.
you will learn from it. You'll learn how to cope with it next. You'll definitely learn what not to do or what not to say. You know, with your next situation or anything that happens. You know.
Yeah.
So, have your kids been able to see a change in you from when you were in your lowest point to where you're at now? Have they been able to, has that helped your relationship with your kids?
Um. hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Um. Because even though when I was at my lowest, I still showed up. For me, is what I think is I still showed up. I did what I had to do. Um, I always tried to shield them from whatever I was going through or however I was feeling.
Yeah.
So I've always been the same with my kids. I never let them see. At least I think I never let them see the ugly.
Why do you think that is?
What?
That you don't want them to see the ugly in you, or
Mm. because I'm super mom. You know, like I don't want them to feel like they're the reason I'm feeling this way, or for them to try to do A, B, and C
Please you.
to please me or make me happy. Um, I just, you know, want it to be natural.
Do you think those emotions come from your feelings at their age?
Yeah, yeah, because when I was, you know, pregnant with Yaya, I always said that I would make sure that my kids never go through what I went through. They they've been through their own stuff, but never have they felt unloved, unwanted, or a burden.
Yeah.
They've never felt like that. And they don't seek validation nowhere.
Yeah.
They want a main part of my trauma. They want a relationship with their grandma, but they're not gonna they're not gonna let them stop their growth.
And do you think them watching you and the way that you've dealt with that because you wanted validation from our mom, you wanted, you were seeking for it, and then you learned how to just cope with that and accept that there is not going to be a relationship right now like you want it to be?
Yeah.
Do you think that has helped them be able to cope with, okay, well, I want to see my grandma, I want to talk to her, I want to have a connection with her, but I'm not going to continue to seek her and seek her only? Do you think your actions kind of help them cope with it as well and kind of help them manage it?
I wouldn't say my actions. Well, yeah, I guess I would say my actions. Yeah. Um, cause I always showed them you're important.
Yeah,
If somebody wants to see you, somebody wants to call you,
they will.
somebody wants to be around you, they'll find a way.
Yeah,
And that's one thing that always made me so mad about my mom is that, oh, you want to say that it's because, oh, you don't speak English and this is why you can't get close to them.
yeah. Man, there's Duolingo.
Yeah. So that's what I've always taught them. You're important. You are, I don't know how to say it, but like, be selfish.
You matter. Yeah.
Yeah. It's you.
It's
You.
okay to be selfish
Yes.
sometimes.
Yes.
You know.
Even though, I'm still learning that, they know that.
Yeah.
And they know how to speak up for themselves like I didn't know how to do when I was younger.
Yeah.
A lot of people like to say, I'd rather be my kids' friends or my kids run me, but that's not the way it is.
Yeah.
Because they have respect for me.
But there's a difference. You're a mother first and a friend second.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's those people that all they want to be is their daughter's friends.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be your kid's friend, but you also have to be a mother 1st and teach them the way, not just be that parent who's out partying with their kids and they don't care. Their kids 16, 17-year-old smoking and drinking and I'm my daughter's best friend.
Yeah.
Like, sorry for those who think that's okay. In my opinion, that's not okay.
Yeah.
But that's my opinion. But for you, for your journey and for everything that you went through, it's like your kids have never had a relationship with their grandma, with our mom, you know? And I remember my kids being the kids that everybody thought were spoiled by my mom, my kids always had that relationship.
Yeah.
With my mom. And
you know what? Can I say something?
mm-hmm.
It would kill me when we were on the phone and I would tell you and you're like, no, she loves them. No. And it's like, bruh, like, how do you not see it?
And it's
They
hard.
used to
It was
make me
hard,
so mad.
and it was hard for me to see something because I was not experiencing that, and
Yeah.
I've never experienced it before. You know, from when I was younger, when I had my kid,
Yeah.
when I had my first daughter, yeah, I wasn't living at home, but I was always at home.
Yeah.
But now, and it's been it's been 8 years, gonna be 8 years since I've been in my new relationship,
Yeah.
which has its ups and downs, but these 8 years have been the happiest 8 years of my life in a
Yeah.
relationship,
Yeah.
you know? And I lost my mom along the way, you know,
Your sister.
my sister, I really,
My
all of them,
sisters.
you know, I don't talk to my family other than you,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I don't talk to them anymore. And that's the journey that I'm on. And now I can see how you were feeling
Yeah.
because I realized that it was me this whole time. Me making sure that my mom spent time with the kids. I'm going to Six Flags, let's go, taking her with me. I'm going to Knott's, let's go. I'm going to go eat, let's go, taking her with me. We're having a party, I'm buying the food. Let's do a party. Let me get there soon so I can set up. And then when everybody's there, let me help my mom feed everybody. Let me help my mom clean. It was always me. And it was because I was single. Although I was in a relationship with my kid's dad, it wasn't a healthy relationship. He wasn't there. He was there, but he wasn't there.
Yeah.
So I've been single since I've had my kids. I've always been single, in a relationship single, and I was always the one that was just the person that everybody called for when they needed. We're gonna do this. I was always the one helping, setting everything up, right?
Yeah.
And then I get into this relationship, which I didn't think anything of it. I mean, we have a whole rainbow in the family.
Yeah.
Mexicans, blacks, Filipinos. My brother-in-law is German Mexican. German white. What is he? We're all mixed. Eddie.
Oh.
We're all mixed. It's a very mixture of a family.
Yeah.
Our kids are black.
Salvadorian, right?
I think, yeah. My little brother's wife, Salvadorian. My other brother's wife, ex-wife now. I think she's like white and Mexican. And then my other my brother's wife, man, she's everything. Helena, hi, I love you.
Mm-hmm.
But when I waited a while to bring him because he was the total opposite of what everybody was used to seeing me with.
Yeah.
They were used to seeing me with, a tough, tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
Different skin color for sure. So I never thought that I would be in a relationship with a total white guy.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of my character and the way that I am and everything and how I was brought up. So I waited a while to bring him, but when I did, they never gave him a chance. And when I say never, I mean never. And he's been nice.
Why did?
Well, yeah, you don't count.
Yeah.
When I say she never counts.
Okay.
And it made me really sad, because this was the moment where, I'm bringing someone, and instead of accepting him with open arms like I did everyone else, they kind of like made fun of him, and all of that. Yeah, he's the goofy white guy, but he's funny, he's strong when he needs to be, he's annoying when he needs to be, mostly all the time, but we clicked. And total opposites. Now I understand why they say total opposites attract. Because when people see us together, they're like, no way. Is that who you? Yes, we have a family, you know. And then my happiest moment of my, well, I'm not going to say it's the happiest moment of my life, but I've had my daughters, you know, and all I wanted was a son to complete me. And here I am having a son. And I'm so excited, you know. And it's just me, the kids, my sister, her kids, her husband, and that's all, you know. And that's how it's been this whole journey. I had my son, you know. I bought my home. I graduated college. The only one of my mother's kids to graduate college twice. This is, you know, the only one in my mom's family, her daughters, to have a home, you know. And I haven't received a congratulations for any of that. And rumors are spread and everything about the person that I'm with. And it really sucks, you know, because these have been my happiest moments. But my sister has been there with me, and we had our discussions and we had our fallouts, you know. But one thing that we learned is that we only have each other.
Yeah.
When it comes to, of course, we have our kids and our she has her husband. I'm not married yet, soon to be, you know. But that's all we have. But when it comes to family, we're all we've got, you know. And I think that going through things as adults has taught us that, has helped us understand, okay, well, I'm gonna just leave it at that. I'm not gonna argue. That's her point of view. And we've had crazy discussions, you know, because we have different views on things. You know, sometimes we're in sync and sometimes we're opposite, but we can still have those arguments and then be like, all right, whatever. So let's go back to talking about something else.
Yeah.
You know, and that's one thing that I really always, and even our kids, they know that.
Yeah.
They know that, you know, we can be mad at each other, but then we'll be good, you know. And I always think about that, and I always think like we have to be able to teach our daughters that although all family is not okay, those that do and that do care about you, those that do check on you, those that do care if you're sad or if you're angry, whatever, those matter. And really hold those relationships close, because those are the most important ones. And although that is our mom, and I love her, and I was really close to her, I have to realize that we're not that anymore, you know. And that, going through that and knowing that she doesn't check in, you know. The kids are sick, the kids go to the emergency room, you know. I've been to the emergency room. She doesn't know. She doesn't call. And I've gotten to a point now where I don't call.
Yeah.
You know, because it's like I've been trying to reach out for so long. I've been trying to get people to understand my point of view, but my point of view doesn't matter in their life, you know. So I've learned to just let it go.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at on my healing right now, is just let it go. I'm not gonna care how they feel about me or how they feel about Andrew, you know, because regardless of how they treat him, what they say about him, they come here and don't apologize. They're still welcome in my home, but he still treats them good. He still goes and makes them the coffee, whatever they want, you know. And And that's one thing that I get upset with him about, because I'm always like, fuck him. Sorry, to say it, but I'm like, why are you treating them good? They treat you like crap. But at the same time, I'm happy that he doesn't treat them like crap, because I think even though that's anyone who knows me, I'm not gonna allow for that. Obviously those who know me still think and believe that I would allow that. But if you really know me and you're being real to yourself, you'll know that that's one thing I don't do. I don't allow for anyone to mess with my family at all. I will knock people out. Maybe not now physically, because I have a career, you know, but I will let you know you're not going to mess with my family.
Yeah.
So that's where I can relate now with the kids. What's one advice that you can give me in my journey that I'm on right now with mom? That's a hard one.
Mm-hmm. That's a hard one because it comes and goes, but either, and I've told you this before, either you accept her for who and what she is,
yeah,
and continue to love her from afar or close, or just leave her alone. You got to make that decision yourself.
yeah. I think that's where it's hard to just. I think I'm at that point right now where I'm just like, I love her, but I don't need the anxiety, the feelings of not being good enough, the feelings of knowing that you know what was right and you chose to do what's wrong.
Yeah.
I don't think I think that's the main reason why I stay away.
Yeah.
I don't know when I'll be able to go and fully discuss with her. There's a lot of things that she won't discuss, you know. And although they don't want to say that they didn't choose sides or they didn't do this, they definitely did. Everyone did. And if they wouldn't, I wouldn't be just me, you, and my kids, and your kids,
Yeah.
But it's okay. For me, it's okay. It's hard. Sometimes I feel really sad about it and I cry, but then I bring myself up and say, I have my kids and I have someone who cares for me, who loves me, who accepts me when I'm being so mean for no reason, you know. And I think that just comes like sometimes I catch myself thinking like, oh my God, I'm just like my mom, I'm just angry all the time. And I don't want to be like that. I want to be happy. I want to be just happy with what God has given me, everything that God has given me, and everything that He has pulled me through and continues to pull me through. You know? So when you think about healing, when you started this healing journey, you had one definition of it. Healing meant this and that. How has that changed to what healing means now?
It's like like not like, well, that's what it is, but really that's what it is. Because when you first start, you think that it's like a 12-step program or something, like like that's how it feels, like you gotta do this, then you do this and this and this. But if it's not going like step by step, it's like, oh my God, I'm not doing this right, or something ain't right. So what I learned was you gotta meet people where they're at, and like I just told you, you either take it and realize that that's all they can give you at this moment, or you keep fighting until you get the result that you want, but you're never gonna get it. You're never gonna get it.
Which of those two options have been, well, I think we can kind of see which one has been the hardest.
Yeah.
Keep fighting.
Yeah.
So in those moments where you thought, I'm gonna keep fighting, was it worth it?
Mm. I think it was. It was worth it because I learned what I was gonna put up with.
Hmm.
Um, so that's the worth it part.
It's not getting the outcome you wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, but definitely, I would do it different. You know, if I had the opportunity to again, I would definitely do it a different way.
What is one question or one thing that if you had a chance to be open and that our mom was being open and was saying, okay, ask me anything and I'm going to answer. What is one question that you would ask her? I know there's thousands, but what is the main one? If you're saying you have one question to ask, and that is the question that I'm going to be honest,
Man.
and that's all you got. Which one? What would it be?
Why? Why didn't? Can't even say it. Why didn't you love me enough to deal with me when I was 11 instead of shipping me off without my siblings to my grandma's house?
And it's not like deal with you. You weren't doing anything crazy. You were hanging out at a friend's house, family that was the opposite of ours. You know?
See, what my mom thought was we were out there smoking. I was 11. I just felt so misunderstood at home, man. I just felt like she just didn't love me enough. And we were dancing and listening to music and
Making pancakes at 12.
making pancakes. Like
yeah.
the first time I had cup of noodles, like the way that they eat it, you know, it's just where I felt understood.
Yeah.
And that would be my question. Why didn't you love me enough to but I say deal because that's what it felt like. I was a burden.
Yeah.
I don't have time to deal with your shit. I don't have time. I'm gonna send you to your grandparents, and whatever happens out there, I'm not gonna know because I never called you for
Yeah.
2 or 3 years.
I don't even remember going out there.
My birthday, I didn't hear from my mom. So I think, and not to get away from the subject, but my birthday, I just look at it like it's another day because it's so hard for me. Like it's my birthday, okay? Don't make a big deal about it. I tell my kids I don't like surprise parties. Don't do any of that because it never mattered.
Yeah. And I think we're all like that, actually.
Yeah.
You know, although I'm the only one who had the quinceañera, I don't remember any other birthday party we had
Yeah.
in the family. To be honest, like, I don't remember any birthday.
Yeah, but it wasn't even about the birthday party. It was about you feeling special.
Yeah.
Like a day, like it's supposed to be about you just feeling special. I don't even care if you didn't bring gifts. Just
Be there.
be there.
Yeah.
So that would be my question. Why didn't you love me enough to deal with me?
You know, you've asked mom that question before. You've asked mom why. And
I think I was too scared to ask her why you didn't love me enough. I asked it a different way.
you asked her why did she send you to my grandma's house?
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I remember when you left, we all were confused. We were like, why is Ydania leaving?
Yeah.
Like we're all in the same house, you know. At that point, you were the youngest girl, you know, her youngest daughter.
No, Baby was there.
Bibi was there.
Yeah, it
Oh
was
yeah.
Duncan.
Well, I'm saying of us,
Oh, okay.
of us. You know,
I just couldn't understand, like,
why? It was random.
my sit like a kid like that goes into foster care. Like, why do I have to be the only one to go?
Yeah. And I remember thinking like, cause you were gone, and we were like, oh, she's lucky. She's lucky she's not here, dealing with this. And you were thinking like, why me? You know. And we were thinking like, oh, she gets to go to our grandparents who give her everything she wants. Because although like at home it wasn't great, you know, but you wanted to be there with us. But then at grandma's, you were their baby. They spoiled you. They bought you anything you wanted. They, you know, you were the only kid there. You know, they spoiled you. I remember thinking like, you're lucky because you get to be near them and all of that, you know. But
I was
alone by yourself, you know.
even though I love my grandparents, and
They were old. They didn't know what was going on.
but I was alone. I had to learn.
Yeah.
Cause my grandma, I mean, yeah, she's taught me a lot of stuff, but you know, like you said, they were old and didn't have time to teach me, right?
I always think about that. Like, I wonder how like you're here. You are a kid, going to. How did you even get enrolled in school? Like,
I have no clue.
I don't know, you know, because we were in a whole different, like, we were in Linwood, and you were all the way in Lancaster, and we were all in the school district over there. And then I guess I don't know what happened or how, but I always think like my grandparents, as you know, old as they were already, waking up, taking you to school, picking you up, whatever the case may be, like that wasn't their responsibility.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you leave your responsibility of a parent to someone else, of to your parent, when you have all these other kids at home. I always thought the same thing. Like, why did they send you? You know why? Our sisters were doing way crazier stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember her giving you an explanation before, where she said, I wanted you to do better than them. You know, I wanted you to not be pregnant young. You know, but fast forward, you're back living with us. How did that even happen? I think we just moved to Lancaster, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we moved to Lancaster, and then I don't even remember how the transition happened, but you were living with us, you know, and by that point you were all in love with Jason. You know, he was your neighbor, right? You watching him play basketball without a shirt, you were just so in love with him. And it's crazy because it's like,
man.
My mom moved you away because you were hanging out with black people, you know, and moved you somewhere where the next door neighbors were black people, and where you met Jason, who you guys started our relationship in middle school. You were in middle school and he was in high school.
He was going into his 9th grade.
Yeah, because we were in the same grade.
Yeah.
Jason and myself. So, middle school sweethearts till now. And it's funny. She didn't want you to date outside of your race. She didn't want you to have a kid young. But she wasn't there to make sure that you didn't. kind of just, I'm moving you here because I don't want you to do that, but along the way, I'm not going to help you understand the life and help you maneuver so you won't end up like that, you know?
And even if it was explained to me when I was 11,
You were 11.
child, it wasn't explained to me.
No.
It was, I don't even, see, I don't remember. I remember bits and pieces of when I was younger, but I don't even remember the conversation to where, get your stuff. I don't even know if I packed. I don't know what I took. I don't know how I got there, but I got there. Actually, I do. My mom or somebody took me to Karen's Auto Parts, where my uncle used to work. I waited for him to get off work.
Karen's?
Karen. That's where he worked. Remember Karen's Auto Part?
Cragen. I'm like,
Karen. Cragen's Auto Parts.
Yeah, yeah.
I had to wait for him to get out of work, and then that's how I got to Lancaster, because he used to still work down there. And it was never explained to me, and I've never talked about this, but my uncle and my aunt, they lived there too with their 3 kids at that time, and they were horrible to me.
Yeah.
But who can I tell? Who can I tell? My mom didn't call to check on me. Maybe she called my grandma to check on me, but that's not the same.
Yeah.
And when I would go back to visit my home, I felt like a stranger. Like I didn't belong there. And I remember when I went for a summer, I think. We were in summer and you guys were still in school and you were getting ready in the bathroom. And I was just looking at you like you were combing your hair, you were putting makeup on. And I'm like, damn, time was still for me. But over here it's like everybody just kept going.
Yeah.
And it hurt me. Because I mean you had your own shit going on, right? You had your friends and you're hanging out, but when I went back it's like I was a stranger in my own house.
Yeah.
And nobody understood, and I feel like till now, like my siblings don't understand how I felt.
I don't think we can understand because we didn't go through that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't even remember that any conversation was ever had as to Ydania's going to your grandma's. I just remember you weren't home. Like, where's Ydania at?
Yeah.
And she's with your grandma. That was it. And we were always like, okay, when are we gonna see her? Like, what? We were so confused. An explanation was never given to anyone. It was just like, this is what's happening and keep going.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a choice. We couldn't say no. We couldn't say, can we go see my sister? Nothing, because it was just never our choice for anything.
Yeah.
Everything happened because Mom wanted it to happen, and that was it. You know? And it's crazy because when we were going through that, we were going through all our stuff, but it took us being adults, you know, and being mothers to understand why I would never do any of that to my kids. We would never do that to our kids, you know?
And we broke the cycle.
Yeah.
The generational trauma.
And because of that, we're the outcasts. You know,
I don't know how my older sisters, and not like older than Sophia, I don't know if they done their healing, because I mean, yeah, that's my sisters, but I don't really know them like that.
Yeah.
And because they were going out of the house young too.
Yeah.
So
I mean, one of them was gone by 12, 13. My other oldest sister, 14, had her baby at 15.
I
But
think the one that stayed the
but
longest was Sue.
yeah, she
Sula.
stayed till she was like 19 or
Yeah,
something.
and I don't know if they've healed themselves or if they've been through to therapy or whatever. But
If they haven't, they should go to
yeah,
therapy.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. But they also broke the generational curses and the teen mom thing.
Yeah.
Because none of our kids, none of our daughters, none of our sons, um,
Ha-
well, they're still young.
yeah.
Um,
But none of our kids are have
teen moms.
have babies that being babies.
Yeah.
You know. Every year that goes by, I'm like, thank you, Lord. You know, our oldest, 21 years old.
Yeah.
You know, and they're not moms yet. You know. Although I'll be super excited when it does happen. I want to be a grandma. You know.
Oh man.
Um, I want to be the best grandma
Yeah.
there is, um, for all my grandkids. You know.
Definitely.
And although we may think like this is our journey, there's so many people going through the same thing. So many people that have that relationship with their mom that is not great.
Yeah.
And there's people that have worse relationship with their moms where they fight their moms physically. They, steal from their mom. They other trauma that they have,
Yeah.
you know? And it's good to know that it's okay. It's not okay to have that relationship with your mom. The normal relationship would be call your mom, be happy with your mom. Your mom calls you, she's proud of you. You tell you the first person when something great happens, the first person you want to call is your mom because
Yeah.
she's always clapping for you. That's what I want my kids to do,
Mm-hmm.
you know. And I don't care. Call me. And my 21-year-old does, you know. And although we don't have that, there's so much more that can be wrong, you know. And I hope that one day mom is able to open up
Yeah.
and hold herself accountable. Even if it was bad, who cares? Heal. Because it's not like or we're going to be like, I told you, you're wrong, accept it. Okay, now I'm over it. What I want is for her to be okay.
Yeah.
For her to be honest and accept her faults and be accountable for them. Hold herself accountable for it.
Yeah.
You know, and
And for people to understand, um, if you're if you have a good relationship with your mom, to be mad at people like us, um, or you lost your mom, and to be mad at people like us because we don't call our mom, or we don't have that we don't have that relationship that you had. It's so unfair for people to judge us
yeah,
because I hate hearing that. Oh, your mom's still alive. Oh, you should do this. Oh, you should do that. Like, that's not fair for you to say.
or they say, you need to talk to your family because, anything can happen, you
Yeah.
know. Yeah, it's true, anything can happen. But doesn't mean that I have to accept being mistreated.
And I'm guilty of that one, cause um, I mean I don't know if she's shared that, but her and my one of our other sisters, they're always at at odds, and I'm always the peacemaker to try to bring them back together, and I'm guilty of saying that. Like, that's your sibling. Like,
Yeah.
what if one of you guys die tomorrow? Like, how are you gonna feel? Um, so I'm guilty of that too. People aren't perfect, but I would love for all of us to be able to hang out and be, I don't even know if that would be a normal sibling thing, but
Yeah.
just be able to coexist with each other.
Yeah.
Not that blows are gonna happen, not that fist fights are gonna happen. It's just to be uncomfortable.
The emotional part of it.
Yeah, the emotional part is what kills us. Yeah.
Well, it's gonna take a lot
Yeah.
for that to happen, and I'm at peace with it. I've asked for forgiveness for my part, and I've accepted an apology that never came, and I'm okay.
Mm-hmm.
I just moved past it, and I'm gonna live my life and be happy in my relationship, because if it means that I have to leave my relationship to make you and everyone else happy so they can see me sad and miserable by myself, then it means that I'm not gonna do it. Yeah. I'm good where I'm at now. Yeah. So in this roller coaster,
yeah.
Do you think that we're ever gonna fully finish healing?
Um, from, I mean, are you talking about period or from like a situation?
However you want to answer it.
I think no. Because I mean, new situations can come around. Um, you forget your coping skills.
Yeah.
You forget what you learned to get yourself out of it because you're so far into it.
Yeah.
So, no, I don't think that the healing journey ever stops.
Yeah. I don't think so either. I think you learn how to heal from certain things, but you don't know how to heal completely.
Yeah.
Life is tough. And I think everything that we've been through shaped us to the person that we are now. Yeah. We're standoffish with new people, like no new friends around here. Yeah. Because people have shown us, the people that are closest to us has shown us how they can't be trusted. And then people that are not close to us has also shown us you can't trust everybody. And it's hard because it's like, and we've been those people before where it's like, I don't want to, we kind of like, we want to be friends with people, but we're not willing to open up completely because I'm afraid of what this person is going to think of my messy home. I'm afraid of what this person is going to think if I have an argument with my significant other, my man, while they're here. I'm afraid of this. So we're not, for me personally, I don't like people in my home. I don't like the energy. I don't like I just have a hard time with bringing anybody to my home, which I'll have to get over because I want to have guests here,
Yeah.
But friends, but those people that I have that are friends of mine know that they can call me and I'm always here. Even those family members that don't talk to me on a regular and randomly call me because I'm having an anxiety attack. My little sister will call me sometimes. Just because I'm angry at something that went down doesn't mean that I'm not going to be there for her. Yeah. So that was deep. We had our ups and downs. You're crying, I'm trying to stay strong. But hopefully all this rambling and all of this talk that we did, we were able to help someone, that's currently going through the down, whether it is with their family, whether it is with their sisters, whoever it is, I hope that we were able to help, or we were something that someone listened to and makes them feel relatable, and say, okay, nothing's wrong with me. This is okay. Other people go through it too, Yeah. So, Ydania, sis, I want to say thank you so much for being here. I hate to see you cry. but I also love to see you release it
Yeah.
and let it out, because I know that's the only way to let it out sometimes is by crying and talking or praying, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you for being honest and being vulnerable, you know, and showing us that healing doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be real, you know, honest, raw, you know. So to everyone listening, if this touched you in any way, you know, or if you know anyone who's currently going through something like this and just wants to understand and you want them to understand that it's okay, um, share this with them, you know, help them in their healing journey. Because believe it or not, sometimes it's just a quick, hey, I'm thinking about you, or listen to this, you know, um, that brings you out of that funk, you know. Um, and don't worry so much about those who are not checking on you, those who are not making the effort, you know. Don't put yourself in your thoughts of thinking, what am I doing wrong? Because you're not doing anything wrong, you know. Just understand that people are not at the same place that you're at, and that's okay, you know. So if today you woke up and you felt like you were taking a step back, this is your reminder that you're not. You're right on time, and right on track of where you want to be. You know, and trust God in your process. Trust God in your healing, and talk to God. You know, because God is there to answer all your prayers, and His promises are always yes and amen. You know, He will make it so that you either learn something because you're stubborn, or you're gonna go through it and go through it until you learn it, or that you feel, you always feel this way actually. Thank you, God, for seeing me through. He'll always be there. So give yourself grace when you need it, rest when you need it, you know. And the most important thing is don't give up. Keep going. Even if you belly flop to the next day, keep going. Keep pushing yourself, because you're not done just yet. Talk to you soon. Bye.